Welcome to Antco Talks. Why use an interest-only loan? When you buy a property, there's a big difference of how much you pay each month on an interest-only loan and a capital repayment loan. Take something very simple. A capital repayment loan can be over 12, 15, 20, 30 years. But it also means each month you have to repay the capital and not just the interest. When you have an interest-only loan, all you're paying is interest. So it's no revelation to say you're going to have a lot more money left at the end of the month by only paying interest when you're not paying any capital, because you've got more money in your pocket. Now, when you have more money in the pocket, it means you can buy something bigger because you can pay more. If you basically have to pay each month capital, even increasing the size of your purchase, you'll still have more money in your pocket and you can buy something a lot better. If you're living in a home, effectively the home you're living in is obviously your main home, so you're very happy with it because it has a certain value. When you buy a secondary home, why do you have to buy something that's not equivalent to where you're living, or at least something you can really enjoy? So if we can do an interest-only loan, we can get much closer to something that you can really enjoy as a secondary home, and even in the future maybe a primary home if you choose to live in France, and at the same time even have change in your pocket from paying a capital repayment loan. Now, of course, one has to be realistic. If prices increase in value, the amount you owe goes down, because with inflation is pro rata less to the debt. And value, if prices go down, obviously it's not as easy. But generally, if we look at the statistics of property over the last decades, property has happily only one direction long term, and that's up. So interest-only loans, cash flow, advantageous for you. So there's another aspect as well, where in France you have wealth tax. So by taking an interest-only loan, you maximize the opportunity of not paying wealth tax. Wealth tax is something that is today depreciated over 20 years. So if you do an interest-only loan and you renew it, effectively you can depreciate your loan for wealth tax over 20 years, have a great home and have something much better that you thought originally because you thought you couldn't afford it. But with an interest-only loan, maybe you can. There's another aspect also with banks, but this also could apply to a depreciating loan or capital repayment loan to interest only, is that many banks in foreign jurisdictions don't make you have life insurance. So many banks, no need for life insurance, and with an interest-only loan, that is also a saving. Because depending on someone's age, life insurance costs you money. In addition, when somebody has medical health issues and you're going to a private bank, they're not as restrictive because they don't force you to have life insurance either. So by not going to have to do life insurance, maybe you could buy something that you thought you couldn't buy because you were concerned of actually the medical examination stopping you be able to buy in the first place. When you go to a bank, you're going to a private bank. Banks can be in Monaco, they can be in Luxembourg, they can be in Switzerland or elsewhere. One of the things today is becoming extremely complicated is that banks will only deal with certain countries where you are tax resident. So we have the European Union, but just simply because you're coming in from a European Union country doesn't mean that the bank will automatically want to work with you. So we have to cherry pick the banks very carefully and match the bank to the client with two aspects in mind. Number one, the size of the file. Number two, where the client is fiscally resident and their nationality. Because unfortunately, there are many banks that won't deal with many nationalities. You have problems with people from Africa, you have problems with people from Eastern Europe, And you have problems, would you believe, even with people from Ireland, which is astonishing but true. So we have to cherry pick the bank. Now, what I don't like with banks is doing beauty parades, because I feel we're good at our job. We know what we're doing. We like doing what we're doing. And we know the interest rates. We know who to go to. So why do we want to waste our client's time taking him to half a dozen banks where someone will say no and some of them not interested, when we know which banks will do it in the first place? So we know what the interest rates are. We know who wants to do what and who will match. And our job is to match the client with the bank and try and give them the optimum solution. Now, one thing that you also need to take into account, and a lot of people make this mistake, they go mad on how much interest rate am I paying. When you've got assets under management, which is often the case with a private bank, the assets under management's yield also is extremely important, and not just the loan interest. So what you have to look at is, how much am I getting on the return on my investments? How much am I paying on my loan interest? And what is the actual end result after tax? And not how much am I paying and it's not enough, because everybody has to earn it somewhere. And if you don't allow people to earn, they don't do a good job. And so therefore our philosophy is also let everybody earn a little bit so that you get a good result. And not last but least is there's another aspect. When you come to renew a loan, that the bank you're working with has good business ethics and doesn't try to take advantage of the client by charging them unnecessary fees on the renewal of the loan. Sure, people don't do things for free, but also they have to be ethical and correct. So our family office is your family. And if you're our family, we treat you like our own family, which means trying to get the best solution at the right price, the best service, and to look after you to make your dream a reality. So what is our job? Our job is to manage on an ongoing business. So what is our job? Our job is to manage on an ongoing basis the bank's relationship with you, to ensure that your investments are being properly managed in a way that meets with your criteria and your terms of reference, so you can concentrate on your business affairs rather than having worries in France. We want to take away the bureaucracy of France. We want to take away the worries of France. We want you to know that you're in good hands.